Now that I've had a bit of time with the Watch 5 Pro, boy, I think I'm ready to give my thoughts and opinions because although I'm not much of a watch person, I think I was eagerly and easily as intrigued as everyone else to find out like Samsung's idea of a pro smartwatch. Is it really going to live up to it? And boy, I'll tell you one thing to sum up right now that really puts things together for what this Watch 5 Pro is about. This watch is stubborn. And when I say stubborn, it does not want to die. And that is a big thing to really achieve for your first Pro watch. So we're going to get into it and really discuss it in my full experience review of the Watch 5 Pro. Now, the reason why I say this watch is stubborn, first, the design. Look, it's controversial. This is the one without the rotating bezel now. And do you know what my thoughts and opinions are? I don't see this as an upgrade to the Watch 4 Classic. I think this is a sidestep. I think this shouldn't have really been called a Watch 5 Pro. I think it should have just been called the Watch Pro because it's not really a 5 series in a sense. It's something completely different. Here's why. The rotating bezel is gone. Of course, as stated before, the virtual bezel is there. It's a thick boy. Trust me, it's thick. But you know what? I think they've done a good job. It's well balanced. Aesthetically, it's not bad. Yes, the bezels are thick, but you know what? Because it's incurved, it actually kind of hides it a little bit more. And you know the incurve is actually good in a way. It's good in a sense because when you're using a virtual rotating bezel, right, it nicely places your finger indented in there and allows you to move it around nice and smooth. So you know what? I'll be honest, the virtual rotating bezel is something I've actually gotten used to very quickly, right? It's not bad. I still do miss the physical rotating bezel because it actually kept your finger off the display. It was more tactile, way more responsive, and it was a unique selling point to Samsung and what they've achieved with their design. Again, I've got a grey titanium, but for some reason, and I said this before, I don't know how this came about, but on the side, I've got a lot of micro scratches that has actually come onto the watch. So it's meant to be a durable, more rugged watch. I ain't really done nothing durability and ruggedness with it to get it to this point. But apart from that, it's clean. The biggest problem I have is this new debuckle sports band. Now look, the whole idea of the debuckle sports band is the fact that it's got magnetic attachment, right? You're meant to actually size up once for yourself. And then once you do that, you pretty much don't need to be able to take it off and take it back on like you would do a normal traditional band. In theory, it works well. Two biggest issues. The initial setup. My goodness, watch that latch. That latch where you actually have to put the initial band through, it is a pain on the fingernails. Yes, it's tough that it clamps in, but you just have to be careful when it comes to it. And the thing about the watch band itself is, as someone that sweats a bit more naturally, yeah, it leaves marks, it's never still, it moves about easily a lot. And the thing is, that means I have to go for a tighter fit, then it's not as comfortable. And the weirdest thing about it, if you're someone that actually relies on reverse wireless charging, if you want to reverse wireless charge the Watch 5 Pro with this band, you're going to have to take the bands off for it to actually work on your smartphone. No issue on the Watch 5. You get that issue with the Watch 5 Pro. Personally, I don't really like the debuckle sports watch. I think it's going to be good for a lot of people, you know, size it up once, you use it, you know, the wireless charging that comes with it, it works fine without having to unbuckle it fully, unless you wireless charge it. And especially if you have to retighten it, that process is a nightmare. That's pretty much been my only gripe with it. So balance-wise is good. The incurve at the bottom of the Bioactive sensor is not bad for the size, and what they've been able to do is good. And I think it was a good design move. I just wouldn't call it a Watch 5 Pro. It's more of a Watch Pro on the Galaxy side. But yeah, that's the design and the build quality of it, man. It's tough. Micro scratches. The buckle, not really something I'm considering. But you know what? It's a good job nonetheless. Now, the performance of the watch itself, hey, it's using pretty much the same specs as last year. So it's based around the Exynos W920 chipset. It's 5 nanometers, 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage. And of course, we're going to talk more about that later. The pièce de résistance, the 590 milliamp hour battery with fast charging. It's a smartwatch, people, and I know it's got the Pro name, but I just make the case and argument that, look, it's a smartwatch. You've got to prioritize battery life first. It's smooth enough. There are some odd little hiccups and hesitations here, but it's a smartwatch, people. It's not anything that is a deal breaker in my personal opinion. It moves about nice and smooth, getting access to your quick settings, your notifications, your apps at the bottom when you swipe up that you can reorganize it. You know, you've got all your tiles on the right that you can add more widgets and stuff to as well. You can change your quick settings, add more to it, do that on the smartphone. It links up to the watch. You know what, navigation wise, it's fine. In my personal opinion, you don't need any more performance on it because the space in there really should be prioritized for battery life. So yeah, I think maybe we need to get down to like a 4 or 3 nanometer process, more for the efficiency gains and maybe tighten things up a little bit. But overall, performance wise, man, it swipes away, no issues in my personal opinion. It's really actually decent. Software experience. Now, I've actually linked this to my Z Fold 4 as my main device, pretty much put all the details that I can put to integrate and sync up to, you know, Samsung Health. And it is One UI Watch 4.5 with Wear OS 3.5. And again, it's meant to give more access on it, but I'll be dead honest with you, I haven't tested it in any other device, but the best experience you're gonna get is with a Galaxy device, especially on the flagships. You get all the features. And overall, it's actually been good. I'm going to talk about a few things that have actually worked well enough where it's kind of scary to use, and also what is not working as it should, where you need to kind of take it with a grain of salt, and what's actually not working at all, where they need a software update to kind of activate it in terms of getting a full software experience. So let's break it down. Now, I've talked about the performance of the OS itself when you're using it, man. The best part is the haptic feedback. The vibration motor and the haptic feedback in here is so nice. And I'll be dead serious, as a non-watch person, it doesn't feel intrusive when notifications come in. It's a nice little knock. And you know what, yeah, I like navigating around it for no reason for sometimes, because the haptic feedback that you get when you hit the dead end or activate something, swipe up, this, that. So I'll tell you how the haptic feedback is integrated into the OS navigation is something that's really good here on the Watch 5 Pro. And hey, if you are enjoying this review, then make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. But yeah, let's continue with the review. Now, when it comes to the software features, everything is based around this bioactive sensor. So things like ECG, heart rate monitoring, sleep tracking, sleep monitoring, that's going to be teaching you as well. There's a new temperature sensor that's meant to be in there for the skin, apparently. We're going to talk about breaking down the stuff that works really well and what doesn't. Okay, let's start with that. What doesn't work? This temperature sensor is not active yet. Apparently it was meant for the skin. We initially thought it was meant for the, you know, temperature environment around you. Either way, the temperature sensor being new, it's not active yet. There's a software update that needs to work. And then we can really test how accurate it is in terms of the usage. Now, I didn't use anything like the ECG and the blood pressure monitoring and stuff like directly, but that's something I set automatically for the heart rate monitor, which is good, especially when you're sleeping overnight. But the thing that worked ridiculously the thing that worked ridiculously well here on the Watch 5 Pro, which really surprised me as a non-watch person using it regularly throughout the 2-week review process, sleep tracking. The sleep tracking is dead on accurate. I don't know the magic behind it, right? But somehow it really genuinely knows when I've slept. Like, I've looked at the time, it knows how long it took for me to start sleeping, then when I woke up, and it gives you like a nice UI breakdown of like your deep sleep, when you were sleeping, this, and I'll be honest, I don't know how accurate it is, but I ain't gonna lie, I like the breakdown. The UI looks very nice on the Samsung Health app. It looks good, I really like it. What's even more scary is the snore detection. Look, I'm blessed enough here. I don't snore that often when I sleep, which is good. But the odd times that I do, especially when I'm having a rough sleep, it picks it up, right? It only keeps the recordings for maybe about 30 days if you want them to, but you can change that for privacy reasons. In the Samsung Health app, it's going to show you the length of time that you were snoring and show you the recordings of the specific times it picked up. And I'll be dead on serious, yeah? Hearing a recording of you snoring is a bit embarrassing and kind of scary at the same time, but it's reassuring. But most of the time, it didn't pick up. That means I'm a smooth sleeper. So you know what? No disturbance if you're sleeping around me. Just put it that way. But for it to work as well as it did on a consistent basis, that was great. Now, there's a feature that makes it more fun in terms of sleep coaching and sleep feedback, right? You get an animal avatar rating. Now, that needs about 7 to 10 days of continuous usage. And I've had a few gaps in between where I haven't worn it to sleep because I forgot, drifted away, creating content and different stuff. But you know what, yeah? That really impressed me way more than it did, right? Especially the heart rate tracking, which was continuous. And that is something that was really good about it. Now, the only thing I'm going to say is like, take it with a pinch and a grain of salt, yeah? The blood oxygen level measuring, I don't know the full ins and outs of it, yeah? But I think it might be a bit inaccurate because sometimes it was saying it was dropping below a certain level without I might have needed to call a doctor to come and check it for me, but I don't think that's really the case. Now, the overall software experience, like I said, is decent when it comes to the hotkeys that you can change from the power button to Bixby. You can set up Google Assistant. I didn't really bother doing that as well. Yes, you've got access to the Google Play Store. You can swipe on the keys as well to swipe for, texting on the keyboard. But I've said this hot take, this display is small. Your finger's massive. If you're not giving me something like a S Pen support or pen tip that I can use to swipe to text on this watch on a quick thing, yeah, I'm not really doing that if I'm going to be honest with you. So I kind of skipped it. So yeah, the 1.4 inch OLED display on here is nice and responsive. Do I want a high refresh rate? Joke, it's a smartwatch. Maybe Samsung put a high refresh rate in there. That's because I think it can handle it in some ways. All right, take that joke away. Let's move on. It's a pro watch, like I said before, and the biggest thing for me leading up to all the rumors and leaks about the Watch 5 Pro, especially as a non-watch person, was what? Battery life. The only way I said this watch was going to justify the Pro name was if it had true multi-day battery life. And let me tell you this, I'm on day 5 at the time of this recording since my last charge. This watch is on 9%. It does not want to die. This is day number 5, people, since my last charge. The battery is insane. I remember the first 3 days when I was actually using it and was learning my usage, I was using it recklessly. I'm talking about auto brightness was off, maximum brightness, always on display, and also screen timeout on 1 minute, maximum. I don't recommend no one doing that. This is the first 3 days of learning my usage, and it took 3 whole days for it to die. The next day, I was a bit more conservative. I went down, still used the always on display, auto brightness to manage, so the low brightness and was managing it properly, screen time to 15%, kept everything, nice and Gucci the same. Thing took 5 days before it died. And on top of that, pretty much one of the only crazy people to actually do a charging test video on this Watch 5 Pro and the Watch 5, the fast charging is legit. It takes literally 2 hours to charge the full. Like, I'm so impressed with the battery on here. Seriously, the battery life on this, if you are a watch person, let alone a smartwatch person, boy, you are not going to be disappointed. This easily does 3 days on extreme usage, 5 days on casual. And if you don't use always on display, yeah, I promise you, this can probably do a week light work. So impressed. Like, for your first pro smartwatch to be this good in terms of the battery capacity and battery endurance performance and fast charging, Samsung, I've got to give you props for that, man. But I don't know, £469. That's how much this cost. That's how much this cost. You really have to be a watch person. Like, I get it. I do get the separation. Why? Because the standard Watch 5 is $299. And then if you go to for a 44mm one, that one is $329. This one has to have that price gap. I don't know, I guess I can recommend it. If you're a watch person, I can recommend it. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. But it's a bit pricey. It's more expensive than some mid-range phones. But you know what, yeah? I'll say this. For the first pro smartwatch that they've brought out, Samsung have set the standard. I think they did a knockout job. Do I miss the rotating bezel? Yes. Do they need to bring it back? Yes. But in the name of ruggedness and the toughness of it and the extra battery life, I think this time around we can give them a pass and say that they did a good job. Let me know your thoughts, man. Are you considering a Watch 5 Pro? Do you have it? If you do, drop me in the comment section below and let me know. That's it for me, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this, you know exactly what to do. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.